This was supposed to be a peaceful birthday party. Until TWO women who can't stand each other walked into the same yard. One walked in with a smile. The other walked in with receipts. And what happened next? Baby, the balloons weren't the only thing that popped. The truth did. Well, guys, this was supposed to be a simple, cute, harmless moment. A little cake, a few balloons, a baby turning one, and everybody going home with full plates and full hearts. But instead, baby Kyrie's first birthday turned into the kind of messy showdown that makes you stop mid-bite and whisper, "Is this really happening right now?" Scrappy thought he was doing something beautiful. He decorated the yard, invited the family, made sure the cameras were rolling, and told everybody, no drama today. We are here for Kyrie. But when you put Shakira and Britney in the same space with old tension, fresh ego, and a man they both have history with, you're basically lighting a fuse and praying the bomb forgets to explode. Shakira arrived first. Shakira walked in like she owned the house and the storyline. Tight black outfit, hair laid, nails sharp, baby Kyrie on her hip like a trophy and a shield. She looked around the yard like she was inspecting her territory. Shakira hugged an auntie, smiled for the camera, and kept repeating, "I'm just here for my son, I'm not doing the drama today." But the way she kept asking who was on the guest list said the exact opposite. She wanted to know if Britney was coming. And she wanted to be ready. Britney didn't sneak in. Britney made an entrance. She came through the gate laughing loud, long ponytail swinging, heels hitting the ground with attitude, bright pink outfit that practically screamed, "I'm not here to hide." She didn't even scan the crowd first. Her eyes went straight to Shakira, straight to the baby, straight to the man behind the grill. And that tiny smirk that slid across her face when she saw them all together, that was the first warning sign that this was not going to end peacefully. Shakira went stiff the second she saw her. You know that freeze a woman gets when another woman walks in and she remembers every argument, every message, every insult, every night she cried? That was Shakira. She shifted Kyrie to the other side of her body like she was putting a wall between Britney and her baby. Britney, of course, noticed. Britney notices everything. Britney walked right over like this was her show. "Wow," Britney said, loud enough for the nearest aunties and the camera to pick it up. "Didn't know you were getting dressed for the red carpet." "It's just a kid's party." Shakira gave a tight, close-mouthed smile. "I didn't know they let just anybody in," she replied. "But here we are." The air shifted. You could feel it. The kids kept running around. Someone was shouting about where the plates were. But every grown-up who had been through family drama before felt that vibration in their chest. This wasn't just normal shade. This was history waking up. Scrappy, still at the grill, shouted over, Yo, not today. Please, we are not doing this today. It's Kyrie's birthday." Smile for the baby. Britney spun toward him and gave him the sweetest voice she could find. "I'm smiling. I'm always smiling. I'm the only one who knows how to be happy for the baby without starting a scene." Shakira laughed, but it was the kind of laugh that had claws in it. "That's cute," she said. "Maybe try being happy for someone you didn't use as a storyline." One of the aunties choked on her drink. Another quietly moved the cake knife further away from the center of the table. The camera stayed on because of course it did. Nobody ever turns it off when they should. The first real collision happened at the photo area. Somebody had set up a cute backdrop with balloons, a big one sign, and a chair for Kyrie. The plan was, take some family pictures first, then let the kids go wild. That plan died in under 30 seconds. "Let's take a picture of the three of you," an auntie said. "Mommy, daddy, and baby." Shakira positioned herself on one side of Scrappy, baby Kyrie on her lap. Britney walked right up and stood on the other side of Scrappy like she belonged there. Everybody shuffled in closer. But when Britney's shoulder brushed against Shakira's arm, Shakira tensed. "Can you watch it, please?" Shakira said quietly, but not quietly enough. Britney raised an eyebrow. "You don't own the air next to you, she replied. If you need more space, you can move. The photographer counted down. 3, 2, 1. But the smiles were thin and fake, as tight as a rubber band about to snap. The camera flashed. The picture looked like a happy family. Reality was anything but Dot. As soon as the photo was done, Shakira stood up and handed Kyrie to Scrappy. Here, she said. You hold him. Since everybody wants to play Daddy of the Year when there's a camera, Britney laughed softly. Baby, he doesn't need to play anything. He's here. Are you? Shakira turned around so fast you could practically hear the friction in the air. Excuse me? You heard me, Britney said. It's funny how you want all the credit, but you only show up when you can post it. I don't have to fake it for Instagram. I'm actually here. Oh, you're here. Shakira shot back. You're here because you love the baby, right? Not because you want to show off for the blogs? Not because you still can't let go of the man grilling the chicken? The aunties started doing that nervous laugh people do when they want to stop something but also cannot look away. Scrappy tried to break it up with, Yo, can we just enjoy the food? The chicken burning, man. But neither woman cared about the chicken. Things got worse at the food table. Shakira was making a plate for Kyrie, trying to cut small pieces of chicken and put some macaroni on the side. Britney slid in right next to her, so close that their elbows almost touched. Don't give him that, Britney said, pointing at the food. He doesn't like it. He likes the little fries and the small nuggets. Shakira didn't even look at her. I'm his mother, she said calmly. He'll eat what I give him. Britney scoffed. You know what he eats when you're actually around, she said. The rest of the time, other people have to figure it out. That hit a nerve. Shakira's jaw tightened. Say what you want about me, she replied, finally turning her head. But don't ever try to act like you know my child better than I do. Britney tilted her head. Then be a mother instead of a character, she said. Because lately, Shakira, all you've been is the villain in your own movie. The entire table went silent. The only sound was a baby in the background squealing at a balloon. One of the cousins quietly backed away with his plate like he'd just walked into a war zone by accident. Shakira leaned in so close, even the camera had to adjust the focus. You really want to go there? She whispered. You really want to talk about being a villain when you walked into this man's life knowing exactly what you were doing? Britney leaned in too, matching her energy. What I did, she said, was show up when somebody needed me. What you did was disappear until it was time to be seen. Scrappy finally rushed over, grabbed a plate, and tried to play peacemaker. Okay, both of y'all relax. Eat, please. There are kids here. There are cameras. This is not the time. But the time had already chosen itself. The birthday party had shifted. This was no longer a celebration. This was a battlefield wrapped in balloon arches. One of the aunties stepped between them and tried to change the subject. Let's cut the cake, she announced. Everybody come to the table. Let the baby smash some frosting. The crowd started moving, but the tension stayed right where it was, hanging between Shakira and Britney like a storm cloud that refused to move. As they gathered around the cake table, the energy was so tight you could practically taste it. Shakira stood on one side of Kyrie. Britney, of course, took the other side. Scrappy's hands were on the baby's waist, trying to keep his balance. Everybody started singing, but half the voices were shaking with anticipation. Not emotion. By the time they got to Happy Birthday, Dear Kyrie, Britney leaned down and whispered in the baby's ear. Loud enough for Shakira to hear, Auntie loves you. Auntie is always here. Shakira's eyes flashed. After the song ended, she said, clear and sharp, stop calling yourself Auntie. You're not family. You're temporary. Britney smiled a slow, dangerous smile. Oh no, baby, she said. Temporary? If anyone here is temporary, it's not me. The cake knife clinked against the tray. Scrappy swallowed hard. The camera zoomed in. The aunties exchanged looks. The kids sensed a weirdness they couldn't name, and that, right there, was the exact moment things tipped from regular shade into full-blown war, because Britney wasn't done. She turned her head, looked Shakira straight in the eyes, and said in a calm, steady voice that cut through the crowd, "You really want to talk about who's temporary? Ask him what he told me about you when you left." Every head turned towards Scrappy. Shakira's face strained, then hardened. "What did you say?" she demanded. Scrappy froze jaw, and the birthday party, for a split second, went completely silent. The silence after Britney dropped that line was louder than any argument they had had in the past year. Music kept playing in the background. The kids kept chasing balloons, but emotionally, the entire party paused. All eyes went to Scrappy, because when two women are ready to fight, they always turn to the man in the middle to prove he's not the one who lit the match. "Say it," Shakira said, staring at him like she could see through his soul. "What did you tell her about me when I left?" Scrappy ran a hand over his head, laughed the fakest laugh anyone had ever heard, and tried to shrug it off. "Man, nobody said anything. She's just trying to start drama. Just eat cake." Britney folded her arms. That was her favorite position. Arms crossed, receipts loaded, ready to fire. "That's funny," she said. "Because you weren't laughing when you told me she abandoned you. You weren't laughing when you said you were basically raising the baby without her. You weren't laughing when you said you didn't even know if you loved her anymore." Gasps spread through the crowd like a wave. One auntie literally walked away clutching her chest. Somebody whispered, "She is messy for saying that out loud." Somebody else whispered, "But is she lying?" Shakira's mouth slowly opened, then closed again. The first thing that hit her wasn't rage. It was hurt. It showed in the way her eyes glossed over and then hardened into stone. "Is that what you said?" she asked Scrappy again. This time, her voice was low, dangerous, with that tremble that comes right before the explosion. Scrappy put his hands up. "She's twisting it," he protested. "You know how she is. You know she exaggerates everything." I was venting. "You left for a while. Things were rough. That's all." Britney laughed. "Left for a while," she echoed. "You mean when she went to work on herself because you couldn't keep your stories straight? Or did you forget how much you cried on the phone about that?" Shakira's eyes instantly snapped to Britney. "You think this is cute?" she asked. "You think it's funny repeating private conversations? You think that makes you loyal or makes you desperate?" Britney stepped closer, too close. That kind of distance that says, if someone doesn't step in, hands are about to fly. "What I think," Britney said slowly, "is that I am tired of you standing here pretending you're the only one who sacrificed anything. I was there when he was broke. I was there when the lights almost got cut off. I was there when you were gone. You don't get to erase that." The word "gone" hit Shakira like a slap. "I was not gone," she snapped. "I was doing everything I could not to lose my mind. Meanwhile, you were playing stepmother for social media likes." "Step what?" Britney repeated, her voice rising. "No, baby." "I was being a mother when you chose to be a mystery." One of the aunties finally snapped. "Not in front of a baby," she yelled, stepping between them. "If y'all want to fight, take it to the street. Not in front of Kyrie." But it was already too late. The baby's face had crumpled. His little hands were reaching up, confused, sensing the energy even if he couldn't understand the words. Scrappy picked him up, bounced him, trying to calm him down as his two worlds collided 5 feet away. "This is exactly what I meant," Shakira said, pointing at Britney. "You love chaos more than you love peace. That's why you keep inserting yourself everywhere. You live off somebody else's story because you don't have your own." Britney's smile vanished. "You want to talk about stories?" she asked. "Let's talk about how you called me crying when he cheated on you, and I still defended you. Let's talk about how you told me you weren't sure if Kyrie even liked being around him, and now you want to act like I'm the problem." The crowd exploded into whispers. People turned their backs. pretending not to listen while leaning closer. Somebody grabbed another drink. Somebody else quietly started recording on their phone. Because when the truth spills in public, everybody suddenly becomes the cameraman. "You are lying," Shakira said, but her voice wasn't confident anymore. "You're twisting everything." "Am I?" Britney shot back. "You weren't saying I wasn't family when you needed me to babysit. You weren't saying I was temporary when you needed somewhere to drop him off. You weren't saying all this when you were texting me at 3 in the morning because he wasn't picking up." Scrappy's face went white. "Britney, chill," he said. "We said we would never bring that up. But that was the thing about promises made in private. They evaporate the second somebody feels disrespected in public." Shakira looked from Britney to Scrappy and back again. Every second that passed was another piece of her trust falling apart. "So the two of you were talking about me?" she asked. "Behind my back. Sharing my business. Sharing our problems. So what were you? His therapist? Or his sidekick?" Britney shrugged. "I was his reality check," she said. "Something you refused to be. Reality check?" Shakira repeated, her voice climbing now. "You're the reason half of this mess exists. You keep calling yourself auntie, but you act like you want my spot." There it was. The real wound. "Your spot?" Britney said. "You think I want your spot? I watched how he treated you. I watched how you let him treat you. That's not a spot. That's a warning label." The aunties tried once again to stop it. One grabbed Shakira's arm. Another tugged at Britney's sleeve. "Stop it, both of you. The baby is crying. People are watching. This is enough." But neither woman heard them anymore. The fight was no longer about the party. It wasn't about the cake or the candles or the decorations. This was every unsent message, every unsaid word, every ignored feeling, every time they had bitten their tongue and smiled in public. "You know what the problem is?" Shakira shouted now, pointing directly in Britney's face. "The problem is you never knew your place. You came into something that was already broken and tried to act like you were the glue, when in reality, you were just another crack." Britney slapped her hand away from her face. "Don't point at me," she snapped. "You don't get to blame me for a man you couldn't keep. If he was happy with you, he wouldn't have been calling me. If he felt safe with you, he wouldn't have needed me. That was it." That was the line that pushed Shakira over the edge. She took one step forward so fast that two people jumped between them. She reached, not quite grabbing, but enough to make everybody scream. For a moment, it looked like she was going to snatch the ponytail everyone had been staring at since Britney walked in. But an auntie caught her wrist at the last second. "Do not touch her," the auntie shouted. "Do not let these cameras see you lose yourself. She can talk crazy, but she doesn't control you." Britney didn't back down. Even with people holding Shakira back, she leaned closer. "You're not mad at me," she said, her voice low, cutting. "You're mad at yourself. You're mad you left. You're mad you didn't demand better when you had the chance. You're mad you found comfort somewhere else." Shakira stopped struggling. For a moment, something unreadable crossed her face. Then she laughed, but it was a sharp, broken laugh, the kind that sounds like it hurts on the way out. "You think you won, don't you?" she said. "You think he chose you. But let me tell you something, Britney. If a man can talk about the mother of his child like that to another woman, he will talk about you the same way the second you stop being convenient." That made the whole crowd go quiet again. Even Britney blinked at that one. Scrappy opened his mouth to respond, then closed it. Because deep down, he knew there was truth in what she said. Shakira straightened her clothes, wiped under her eyes, and shook off the hands still holding her back. She looked at the cameras, at the guests, at the crying baby in Scrappy's arms. "I'm not doing this," she said finally. "Not today. Not in front of my son. Not for likes. Not for clips. Not for anybody." She walked over to Kyrie, kissed his forehead, and whispered something in his ear that nobody else could hear. Then she stepped back, looked one last time at Scrappy, one last time at Britney and turned toward the gate. "Where are you going?" Scrappy shouted. "You're just going to leave?" She didn't even look back. "Congratulations," she said. "You finally got the messy moment you wanted. Enjoy your party." Britney watched her go, arms folded again, eyes hard but not as confident as before. The aunties looked disappointed, tired, sad. The kids went back to playing, because children always move on faster than the adults who are supposed to protect them. Scrappy stood in the middle of the yard, holding a baby with frosting on his hands and tears in his eyes, stuck between two women who were both right and both wrong at the exact same time. And the camera? The camera captured everything. The smiles, the shade, the secrets, the almost fight, the walkout. This was supposed to be a first birthday memory. Instead, it became a perfect viral moment. And now the only question left is, whose side is the world going to pick? Shakira, the hurt mother walking away, or Britney, the unapologetic reality check who refused to stay quiet? Either way, the internet is already replaying every second and choosing their fighter. Because this wasn't just a party. This was a war dressed up as a celebration. This was a war dressed up as a celebration.